These are not the best of times for the Nigeria police. They have been getting serious heat from all angles, I must say.
Yes, indeed. Now, the World Internal Security and Police Index, WIPSI, International, has rated the Nigeria Police Force as the worst police organization in the world. And of course, that's WISPI. In its 2016 report, described the NPF as the worst globally in terms of its ability to handle internal security challenges. Now, that report was released based on the assessment of 127 countries.
Now, the indices used in the assessment include capacity of the police, the process, legitimacy and outcomes, which the group said were meant to measure the ability of the security agency in a country to respond to internal security challenges now and in the future.
But the Nigeria police has rejected that ranking. Force Public Relations Officer Jimoh Moshood asked Nigerians to disregard the report as the NPF still remains the best in Africa and one of the best in the world. Well, human rights activist Ayodele Adewale is with us in the studio. Good morning and thanks for joining us.
Good morning.
Okay, so does this rating come as a surprise to you? The National Bureau of Statistics only not too long ago came up with a report saying that Nigeria's police force, or the Nigerian police force, is the worst government agency, followed by the judiciary. And now you have this report coming from WISPI.
Well, for me, it's not a surprise, and flowing from the fact that Nigeria has been suffering from a lot of decadence, and you must not be quick to forget that the police force are also key components of the Nigerian society. And it's a reflection of what is happening in Nigeria, and basically we have often said that there's a need for us to rejig our society using education as the main focal instrument for doing that. So if they've come out with such report, I think what the police need to do is to look within their ranks and file and see where these faults are and try to rebrand or to restructure their system and all of that. Not for them to come out to say that, look, we're not like this. There's no Nigerian, not even you, that trusts the police.
Well, no. Actually, I think
Let me give you a scenario.
You trust the Nigeria police?
Yes.
Let me give you a scenario. Let me give you a scenario. There was a time we had a bomb blast in Amuodofin in local government. You understand? Underneath the bridge. The Consular General of the United States called me. He was to be in my office that morning for a visit. He now called me and said that, look, we had XYZ, and if you need any help, don't hesitate to call us. And I said, don't worry, the police are on it. He said, no. We called you because we care for you. If you need any help, call us. That is deep.
Very, very instructive.
You understand? And when the police came out with their report, what did they say? They said an armored cable exploded. I know very well that there's no cable that passes underneath that bridge. So why are we lying about the situation? There was a bomb blast in UK. The UK police came out to tell us what happened and how they are working towards curbing it. It happened in the US. They came out to tell us what happened. Then why are you covering it? So it means that they had pre-information that prevented the consular from coming to visit me. And the police never had such information. So they need to work their system and get their system right.
You're making all of this even more complicated now.
It's the fact.
You're speaking to the fact that the Nigeria police involves itself in a whole lot of cover-ups.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, we'll talk about that as we get along when it comes to the issues of cover-ups and coming open and being transparent for the people to see. But let's get back to some analysts after this report by WISPI have said that you can't separate the police, the functionality or the capacity of the police from the government itself. The police is totally a function of how the government wants it to be. Is this an indictment directly on the government of the day? Not necessarily, but government generally.
Well, governance is a continuous. It's a continuous, and it's not an indictment of the government of today, because we're seeing what the government of today is doing to rewrite our wrongs and make it right. You understand?
But what's the difference when the government is to continue?
No, don't forget the fact that the police are from our society. Now, how has our society been in the last 16 years? Or should I say 18 years of our new nascent democracy, so to speak? take it or leave it. Mr. El-Rufai has done something very wonderful. He has been able to pinpoint a fault in the educational system in Kaduna State. And don't forget that it is the educational system that will pave way for development, either getting the right set of persons into the police force or into any strata of human development.
But you've just taken it to where many Nigerians will question the sincerity of this government when it expects so much from the education sector. For example, when it only gives about 7% of the total budget to education, as against what the UNESCO or UN, recommends, 26%. So if government really believes that every other thing stands on education, so the quality of police force that you'll get, the quality of doctors, nurses, journalists even, and every other area of our lives would be impacted on.
That is why the National Assembly needs to look into that budget and raise the bar. 7% cannot help us in this country to get our education system right. And if we don't get it right, we cannot get our security right. Because when you talk about security, you talk about technology.
Yes.
And if you talk about technology, you need education to get the right technology to work for us. And even the police force that we have, what is the means of recruitment? Who are being recruited? And how are you managing them? Are you retraining them? Do they even look physically fit? Are they well remunerated? Is their welfare well taken care of? Somebody did say, if you give peanuts to workers, then you're going to get monkeys as workers. Yeah. So if you don't want monkeys, then you give a la carte. If you give a la carte, you get human beings that can do the work. Yeah. I mean, TVC has spent so much money to get far-right thinking people like you that cannot be found anywhere, and they are contemporary to any journalist or journalism establishment all over the world. You rank pari passu with CNN.
All right, you can say that again, but you just put us in a very tight corner. But we'll leave it there. Are you more worried about this rating?
I'm not worried.
Or the fact that on all counts, capacity, process, legitimacy, outcomes, the Nigeria police scored 0.255%.
Do you know how we look at the police in any corner of the world? They are the custodian of the law. People look at the police as angels. They should come out as angels. They should be the saints within our society. You understand? I mean, he who come to equity must come with clean hands. So if you are coming to arrest a criminal, you must not be seen with any iota of criminality. And for you not to have that, it means that the system must get the best from within itself. And of course, equip them and remunerate them. And if you do that, they don't have any reason for compromising their work ethics and all of that. So it is good that such report has come out. If I am the IG, I will sit down with my rank and files. Like, gentlemen, guys, we have this report before us. What do we do? You now start sieving your system. You sieve it very well. And if you have problems with resources, you go and meet the commander-in-chief. Take it or leave it, Mr. Tafa Balogun did something very wonderful, and IG Smith. It was during the era of these two that they bought new AK-47. And I remember the police protest. There was no protest. It was organized by one, I think, Ufom or Esong was the guy's name, and my late secretary when I was in the student union, Teslim Samori then, and late Dr. Bekor and Somkuti. We organized that thing. And that so-called protest gave rise to promotion of the police and purchasing of equipment for them. You understand? And all of them became very happy. And there was changes.
And not much change has happened since
we've had reports from the National Bureau of Statistics earlier on, like you said, the reports about the police wasn't good enough. The DSS recently came out to say that, well, the police, it is obvious that some of the security agencies sell arms,
help criminals,
and all of that. We've had this from WISPI. And if you go on social media, the people, the comments and comments and comments from the people, everyone, in fact, most of the people, if we have to put it, jig it in percentages, about 80% of those who responded to say to the recent rating said that actually the police is not to be trusted. The police has all of the faults. The police is actually the worst and all of that. But let us take it to Botswana, that is said to be the best in Africa, followed by Rwanda. What do their police have that is different, that we don't have? What do they do that we don't do?
What they have is a right leader that is controlling their system, controlling their country. The leader is very patriotic. The leader has taken the country as his own and all of that. And the leader is giving back to the country what is ideal. If you give an ideal situation, you get an ideal result and all of that. It was on this same station I was shouting many years ago what was happening within the police force before you discover Evans and every one of them. And with time...
And added to that, of course, the allegations from Senator Misau. Those are still there. We're not seeing much from there. And of course, the IG himself did say that the Nigeria police would need about 1.1 trillion naira every year to fund the police adequately if we want the kind of police we want. And 31,000 or so police officers have to be recruited every year. So if we're really honest, we may need to begin to look at, you know, some of these allegations. But that's where we really have to leave it.
When I looked at that incident, and the IG is saying that he's not coming to answer that's another matter. We'll have to leave it. We'll have to leave it there.
So, Adewale, thank you so much for coming on the program. Would have loved to talk more, but the time will limit us right now. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.